Welcome back to the Dirthead Shed. We have a few little things to finish up on this Landcruiser, and then it's time for this thing to head back over to Dirt Lifestyle Nate's place. Step one, turn the compressor on. Oh, it didn't leak down overnight. Step two, track down some penetrating oil. What do we got? That will work. I think what I'm gonna do today is try and get the back of the cage tied into the frame. And I just crawled underneath the Landcruiser and it looks like there's a bunch of other stuff in the way. So we're gonna figure that out and hopefully get this knocked out pretty quick. Come on in. So it's time to get these little old bumper brackets off, and I'll get this spare tire carrier out, and we can hopefully bust out like some quick tube work to get that plate way up there to tie into the top of the frame rail here. That will strengthen up the roll cage and it'll just sort of finish what I started on that, so that'll be good. All right, let's get these things out of the way. That thing's loud. Potatoes are awesome. All right, let's get this next deal out. This cross member is bolted in from the top, which is kind of wacky. Let's see if we can get this ratchet up in there. Oh boy, there's a lot of dirt up there. I think Nate's plan on this is going to be to build a new cross member that's kind of tighter underneath this this body cross member, and then ditch this whole section that hangs out really far on these Landcruisers. If all goes well, it should get a better departure angle and still be plenty strong and have a cool wraparound rear bumper when it's all said and done. I believe that is it. Alright, let's see if we can get this thing out of here. Probably gonna take a hammer, pry bar, a winch. I got a hammer and a pry bar, and as long as this thing's not like keyed into the frame, then it should pop right out of there. Let's see, let's start here. Still feels like there's a bolt left. Let's see if I can get these bolts off. Even the easy stuff's not easy, man. Just got showered in dirt. This thing is likely to fall on my head, so I should at least get the camera set up. What else is holding this thing in? What am I missing here? Maybe it needs more pry bar. Got it. That was wild. Now let's figure out how to do some actual work. I need to attach that plate to that frame, and I think I can do it with a piece of round tube pretty easily. Let's look at it from here. Yeah, piece of cake. First we need a tape measure. Next we need some tubing. I think I have another tube over here, or a couple of tubes that are kind of bent and gonna work for what we need. There we go, we'll use this one. I think for this I'm gonna use the Portaband. I'm tired of listening to all the noise and sparks that chop saw makes. Alright, we got our tools out. Let's go measure and see what size I need and kind of how this is gonna work. Basically, I have a plate here at the bottom of the frame, and then I have a frame rail, or at the bottom of the body, and then I have a frame rail here. The distance from frame to outside of tube needs to be about 4 1/4, and the distance from plate to bottom of the frame is 10, top of the frame is about 6.5. So I need to get a piece of tube that comes off of this plate and lands over on the side of the frame. So at least I have a couple of good numbers that I can figure out, and just cut that out of this. We should be good to go. The easiest way to figure this out is going to be to just put a piece of a straight edge along the side of that and come over here and be like, oh, there's 4 1/4. So that should get us our distance from the plate to the side of the frame. And then we can come over here and kind of do that so that's perpendicular there. And then we come up, and I think I kind of wanted this thing to be about 7.5 tall. Well, that's 2. So let's see what our numbers were. 6 1/4 would be like the shortest it could be, and 10 was going to be the longest. So if I cut this thing to 9, that should put it an inch up on the frame rail. If I cut it to 9, that should put us an inch up on the frame rail and give us plenty of room to weld this joint around. So let's cut this thing up and see what happens. I wear earplugs all the time. I've kind of gotten so used to wearing these things that it's weird to not have them in anymore. Let's cut this long. The bandsaw is probably not the best way to make straight cuts in tubing, but it works pretty good. The other thing that's cool is there's really not much cleanup to do on it. Like this thing, with just a quick sand, is ready to weld. There we go. I can see, and you guys can see. Perfect. That fits really good. I'll take it. I can actually shorten it up about an inch and still get in a good location for it, and then get it kind of up and out of the way from where Nate's probably going to be doing his bumper. So I'll go shorten this and then duplicate it, and we'll come back over here and weld it in. I'm going to need this if we're going to clean the frame up for a good weld. I got both my tubes sitting there ready to go. Let me fire up the welder and we'll buzz these things in. Let me fire up the welder and we'll buzz those things in. We'll buzz these things on. Let me get the welder here. I'm using my smaller welder, which is a Miller Multimatic 220. It's a 220 welder. It actually works really good, but it uses like the small spool and has the smaller amperage gun. I have it set for 1/8 inch. That looks good there. That looks good there. Hopefully my ground is good. Gosh, it's crazy. I can see everything with these glasses on. Most of that looks really good. There's a couple of funky booger welds because I was upside down and overhead. Got those tubes all welded in on both sides, and I've got like one other little weld project I want to do before Nate picks this up, and that is figuring out something to fill the void under this C-pillar brace or platform. So I'm going to go over to the bandsaw and cut a couple little chunks of this 3/16 plate out, and that should get under there and kind of give that thing a little bit more of a better shaped foot to rest on, I guess. So a couple little chunks. Let's go fit these in the rig and see if it's going to do the job. So that is going to just kind of cram right under there. Oh boy, the rock slider paint's not dry yet. Sorry, Nate. Let me go grab a water bottle and I'll actually weld that up real quick and then cool it off as I go. Okay, feel all right about that. What should be the last of the welding projects today is gonna be tying this rocker box into the roll cage. You can see here I've got the frame, the rock slider, and the cage all kind of tied together, but I do want to do a little bit of a filler here along the rocker box, and that should just kind of keep this all locked together. So let's go basically make another piece just like I did for the seat or the C-pillar thing. Here we go. I just cut a couple basically 2.5, 3 inch long chunks of 3/16 plate, and we will kind of get that up in here between the rocker box and that B-pillar for the roll cage. And this is a nice thick spot right here that's got that had the rocker or the mounts for the original steps on it. So it's actually kind of a pretty beefy spot on the body. Get that tacked in. Tacked in. So that should give it quite a bit more strength than if I were to have just welded the body, the floor pan to the tube. So I think we're going to be good to go. Now I can go through and finish painting everything. Call this thing done. All right, I'm running out of time. Nate's going to be here in 45 minutes. So we got to crawl under this thing and kind of finish up painting the slider tie-ins and where the cage, all that welding and stuff was. So let's get under here. I got some primer, some basic Rust-Oleum 2X primer, and this was some paint that Nate dropped off, Seymour Gloss Black. All right, let's make this thing look good. Dang, that was a lot of work. Look at all that. All these gussets and tubes. Ton of work. I think the sliders were definitely more work than the whole cage was. This tube, I actually got the top side of it pretty good and it was out of the car before I welded it in. So we should be able to do kind of a quick job on this and actually have it pretty well covered. So if you have the opportunity to get under here and paint this before it rusts, do it. Even if you get runs in it and stuff, man, it is like so much better than coming back and trying to sand off a bunch of rust. Primer has had 15 seconds to dry, approximately. There we go. This one's pretty tricky with the exhaust all in its way. I think I'll get this thing pulled out. See how it looks outside. It needs shocks. Nate made it. Let's see if he thinks this thing's gonna work.
Yes, I did.
That's still a little damp.
That's all right.
I painted the rockers at the rock sliders at about, I don't know, 10 o'clock last night.
Yeah.
That stuff is great paint, but man, it takes a while to dry.
It takes a long time to dry, but yeah, it lays on really smooth.
So.
Nice, man. Roll cage, all right.
Seems like everything is taking shape. Yeah, so you should have plenty of room for back seats.
Yeah, totally.
And like an option if you want to throw a harness bar in either one of those.
That's what I figure. I figure I'll do the harness bars once I get the seats in.
Yeah, I like stock seat belts personally, but
they hit the door, whatever. I see there's a notch. That's what I'm trying to say.
Oh yeah, and the door panel, yeah. Yeah, that notch is really clean and fits bitchin'. That was my first one, and it's really bad.
Okay.
So I was trying to creep up on that, and it was like not happening very good. So that one over there is really nice. But yeah, trying to keep everything tight, you gotta have a little compromises here and there.
100%, man. That's cage work.
Yeah.
It's not a race car, so you gotta, when you're trying to make it one, you're gonna be making compromises.
Yeah.
Well, sweet. Yeah, that's nice and high. That's going to be great.
Yeah, I kind of like it. It's almost like with that sunroof, it was kind of a pain because the headliner drops, but I was able to get that tube tucked up and then this one even higher. So it's like there's a ton of room. So,
heck yeah.
Pretty cool. Pretty cool.
Nice work.
What are you doing next?
I'm excited to get it on the trail. I might do... I'm always more satisfied with like bumpers and slides.
Yeah.
It's always like faster projects and it looks good or better, faster.
Yeah.
So I think I'm going to do the rear bumper and then, or I don't know. I also am really tempted to pull those axles tomorrow and get completely stripped down, completely cleaned,
Yeah.
do all the welding and everything I need to, just to reinforce a couple things,
Cool.
and then do the gears and lockers.
Yeah, the gears and lockers are going to be the game changer on this rig.
Yeah, definitely.
This is what I was messing with today. I did tie-ins for the cage to the back here. So there's a base plate up in there, and then it comes down and welds to the side of the frame.
Damn, you even connected the rear part.
Yeah.
That's
And then,
more than I would have done.
yeah,
Nice.
so
All pumped, man. This
Cool.
thing is hopefully inside of next 5 weeks or so, it'll be ready to.
it's got to be.
Yeah, it's true. It's got to be. Yeah.
All right, we're going to get it loaded up on the trailer. Sick. All right, that's it for this dirt head shed. Nate is loading this puppy up and heading over to his shop with it. Can't wait to see what happens next with it.